Harold and the Purple Crayon by Crockett Johnson. I wonder what Harold is going to do with his purple crayon. Let's read our story and find out. One evening, after thinking it over for some time, Harold decided to go for a walk in the moonlight. There wasn't any moon, and Harold needed a moon for a walk in the moonlight. And he needed something to walk on. So what did Harold do? He drew himself a moon and a path. He made a long straight path so he wouldn't get lost, and he set off on his walk, taking his big purple crayon with him. But he didn't seem to be getting anywhere on the long straight path, so he left the path for a shortcut across a field, and the moon went with him. The shortcut led right to where Harold thought a forest ought to be. So what do you think Harold did? He didn't want to get lost in the woods, so he made a very small forest with just one tree in it. So Harold drew a tree. So when Harold realizes there's something that he wants or needs on his journey, he's using his big purple crayon to draw it. Guess what kind of tree it was? It turned out to be an apple tree. The apples would be very tasty, Harold thought, when they got red. So he put a frightening dragon under the tree to guard the apples. It was a terribly frightening dragon. What did he do to make it super frightening? Look at those sharp teeth that he added to his dragon. Whew, scary. It even frightened Harold. He backed away. His hand holding the purple crayon shook. So if you see, his hand started to shake and it started to make some wavy looking lines. What do you think that might turn into? Suddenly, he realized what was happening. But by then, Harold was over his head in an ocean. So those wavy lines actually turned into some big waves, the waves of the ocean. Oh no, I wonder what's going to happen to Harold. He came up thinking fast, and in no time, he was climbing aboard a trim little boat. He quickly set sail, and the moon sailed along with him. So Harold did some really fast thinking and drew himself a boat to save himself. After he had sailed long enough, Harold made land without much trouble. He stepped ashore on the beach, wondering where he was. The sandy beach reminded Harold of picnics, and the thought of picnics made him hungry. So he laid out a nice, simple picnic lunch. There was nothing but pie! But there were all 9 kinds of pie that Harold liked best. What kind of pies do you think Harold likes? What kind of pie do you like? Let's keep reading and find out about Harold. When Harold finished his picnic, there was quite a lot left. He hated to see so much delicious pie go to waste. So Harold left a very hungry moose and a deserving porcupine to finish it up. and off he went looking for a hill to climb to see where he was. Harold knew that the higher up he went, the farther he could see, so he decided to make the hill into a mountain. If he went high enough, he thought, he could see the window of his bedroom. Why do you think Harold wants to see his bedroom? He was tired, and he felt he ought to be getting to bed. He hoped he could see his bedroom window from the top of the mountain. But as he looked down over the other side, he slipped, and there wasn't any other side of the mountain. He was falling in thin air. Oh no! What do you think Harold's going to do this time? But luckily, he kept his wits and his purple crayon. He made a balloon and he grabbed onto it. Harold is such a quick thinker. And he made a basket under the balloon big enough to stand in. He had a fine view from the balloon, but he couldn't see his window. He couldn't even see a house. So he made a house with windows, and he landed the balloon on the grass in the front yard. None of the windows was his window. He tried to think where his window ought to be. He made some more windows. He made a big building full of windows. He made lots of buildings full of windows. He made a whole city full of windows. That is a lot of windows. Do you think amongst all those windows he's finally found his? I hope so. Let's keep reading and see. Oh, but none of the windows was his window. He couldn't think where it might be. He decided to ask a policeman. The policeman pointed the way Harold was going anyway, but Harold thanked him. Harold has such nice manners. And he walked along with the moon, wishing he was in his room and in bed. Then, suddenly, Harold remembered. What do you think Harold remembered? He remembered where his bedroom window was when there was a moon. It was always right around the moon. And then Harold made his bed. He got in it and he drew up the covers. The purple crayon dropped on the floor and Harold dropped off to sleep. Harold was very imaginative in our story. He used his crayons to create all kinds of things for all sorts of situations. I would love it if you would draw some pictures and come up with your own stories and ideas. Let's see what you can come up with using your imagination. I look forward to seeing your pictures, my friends. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you later. Bye.